In this episode, we're visiting Caladesi Island State Park on the Gulf Coast of Florida. In the late 1800s, using nautical charts like this, Henry Scherer took refuge from a storm inside a small cove inside Caladesi Island. On that island, he created a homestead and had a daughter named Myrtle, who lived almost her entire life on the island, and even wrote a book about it. Now Caladesi Island is a Florida state park, has miles and miles of sandy beaches, and even a really nice marina with 108 slips. The island also hosts numerous hiking and kayaking trails through the mangroves. You can even visit by car by going to Honeymoon Island right next door and taking the Caladesi Connection boat over to the island. As we prep the boat for our voyage today, we have about a 6 to 12 mile an hour breeze out of the west. This is nice because we've been having a lot of north and south winds, meaning we could go one way but not the other, or have to do a lot of tacking. Today we can sail both up and down the intercoastal waterway and have a beam reach. So we're prepping the boat, throwing out the jib sheets and raising the sails for our trip. It might look like my wife Susie isn't doing much in these videos, and that's not just because she'd rather be out in our speedboat. It's because she packs the cooler, checks our checklists, get all the bags ready, organizes the cabin, and does anything else that I need help with. Here we're arriving at Caladesi Island. There were a lot of birds along the little causeway there, and you can see the sign for the entrance to the park. There's kind of a little river area that you have to travel once you get inside, which if you're in your speedboat would take 30 seconds, but in this thing it's taking about 15 or 20 minutes. We saw a little fisherman there, and now we're approaching their marina. At the Caladesi Marina, you can kind of just pull up to any spot that doesn't say reserved, and I don't think I've ever seen more than 15 boats there out of the 108 slips, so I don't think anyone's ever going to go there and not be able to get a slip. On this particular day, our motor decided only to have forward, not reverse or neutral, so we had to just sort of fly up into the slip, and after securing the boat, we'll walk up and see the attendant about paying our fee for the day. This isn't our first time here. We've taken our power boat here a couple times and also kayaked over here. There's some beautiful trails through the mangroves. They kind of form tunnels that you kayak through. So there's a lot to do at this island. You could easily spend most of the day here, whether you come here by their boat or your own. This is the window where you pay the attendant for your stay, and then we're going to take a walk up to their little concession stand and order some lunch. The food here isn't great, it's like beach food, but that's okay. Here's where the Caladesi Connection parked. It seems to come and go pretty frequently. Some kayaks that you can rent from them if you don't bring your own, and they even have a little board that shows different shells you can find on the island. Now that we had a little lunch in their small cafe, let's take a walk out to the beach and see what the Gulf of Mexico looks like. You want to make sure if you come to Caladesi Island that you have shoes or at least flip-flops. All of their decking is super hot. Most of the trails have burrs that you can get caught in your feet, so it's definitely not a place to walk around barefoot. Not until you get onto the beach at least. Lots of hiking trails, You could really get lost here, and there are a lot of rattlesnakes. We've seen quite a few. So after some swimming in the water in the Gulf of Mexico, which is really warm this time of year, we packed it up and headed home. We actually got stuck on a little sandbar and both had to get out of the boat and push it, but thankfully we were able to get unstuck and made it home. Don't forget to press subscribe and notify to see more of our adventures in the future. Thanks for watching.